aren't already, don't forget to follow DmanUnt2014 on Twitter.
Speeds on the track.
So how about we get this thing started right? So you see Chris Paul, we about to demonstrate some moves. The first move I'm going to demonstrate is the crossover. It's real simple. You do this by holding the left trigger and moving the left stick to the opposite hand. And he'll do a crossover. You know, one of the most simple moves on this game in my opinion. You know, I'm also freestyling this commentary. It's not going to be perfect. And so you see right here, the in and out is a good move to do if you play ranked versus other people. You hold the left trigger, move it to the opposite hand and back to the regular hand real quick. You gotta do it quick or he'll do a double cross, which is also a good move in my opinion. See that in and out one more time. So the next move is the behind the back, and this is also a really simple move. You do this by just simply rotating the left stick to the opposite hand and he'll go behind the back. It's a good move to make a cut to the basket. You see I do it a lot in my dunk montages because this is a quick way to get to the lane. This is the spin move. You do it the same way as behind the back, except you hold down the L trigger. If you don't hold down the L trigger, you do it behind the back. It is also a nice way to get to the basket. And some players have real fast spin moves like Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, I'm sure Rondo does. It's just a nice way to set up your layup and just a nice move overall. So you see right here, it looks like we're rocking the step back. To do the step back, you run up and pull the L trigger and press back on the left stick, or press the left stick away from the basket. That's the way to do the step back. And you can also switch it up in the variation. Press back on the left stick and press up on the left stick, and you'll do a step back and go. That's a nice move to do on a fast break, because the defender, it'll just throw the defender off. Of course, I'm talking about in quick rank. The computer doesn't really fall for it, but in quick rank, or if they had crew, I believe the step back and go is a great move to do on a fast break, especially if you have a great point guard that can shoot the jumper. You know, of course you can switch it up. That's what I like about the ISOMotion in 2K12. You don't have to finish the animation, you can just cut it out. And it's just, it feels smooth. That's what I really like about this game. So, you know, we're about to get ready for the next guest. So, it's about to be hot. Peace.
Speeds on the track.
You see we have Tyreke Evans on the court. You know, the first move I'm going to teach y'all is to step back to the behind the back. I love this move. It's one of my go-to moves. Basically, you do a step back by holding the L trigger and pressing the left stick away from the basket. But once you do this, you move the left stick to the hand that the ball was initially in, and you'll do a step back to behind the back. I mean, it's pretty tricky to do, but once you get it down, you have it down. Step back, initial hand. It's that easy, man. Easy way to get to the basket, easy way to get your dunks in, layups in, especially if you're going to get some of your homies. You know, might not work versus the computer, but definitely getting some of your homies, it'll work, no doubt. So the next move's pretty easy. It's just a hesitation. No, you do this by tapping the L trigger, and every guard has some type of hesitation move. Some are better than others. But you can also, make this situational. You could be on a fast break, do a hesitation, and keep going. It keeps your defender guessing which way you're gonna go. Because also you can do a hesitation. You can do a stop and pop with the hesitation. If you do a hesitation and move the left stick to the opposite hand, the free hand, you will do a hesitation and kind of a crossover, which is something I like to do a lot. Check this out. It gets the defender leaning basically. So that's the main part. That's the secret in this game. You have to get your computer leaning, get your defender leaning, and they just won't be able to guess which way you're going, which is the secret to get into the hoop on this game. And so the next move is the escape dribble, or I still call it the ISO gather, because that's pretty much what it is, kind of. But they put a shot animation with it. So you do this by holding the left trigger and holding the right stick, pretty much any direction. If you press it away from the basket, he'll do a escape dribble to a step back jumper. If you press it forward, he'll move forward with it, and left to right, he'll do the same. You see me just doing a few here. It's nice moves to do because it escapes you from the computer's defense, which is tough on this game. It keeps your homie guessing if you're playing him. It's just a lot of moves you can do and string together. You don't have to complete the animation like you just saw right there. I didn't complete the animation. So you can start one, then just go a complete opposite way. It's pretty nice. It's a nice move to have in your arsenal, no doubt. So Tyreek Evans is about to show us what's up next on the move list. The up and under. This move right here, it gets the computer jumping, because I've done it in my player. It gets the computer jumping a lot. It'll definitely get your homie jumping if you're playing him. So what you want to do is run towards the basket, release the R trigger. You got to release the R trigger. Flick the right stick one way and then flick it to another direction. You can flick it right and then up, left and then right, down and then up. Maybe not down and up, who knows. As far as I'm concerned, you can flick it a lot of ways. You see me fell right there. Like I said, this thing isn't going to be perfect, but you can just flick it a lot of ways. This move is kind of difficult to do. You just have to get used to it, And so Tyreek Evans finished up right here. We're about to welcome the next guest into the tutorial. And hope y'all enjoying this so far. Peace. Okay, with Dwayne Wade, I'm gonna show y'all how free yourself up from the computer a little bit more and get all some high quality shots. This is a spin hop layup or spin gather layup, whatever you want to call it. He spins and lay it up. You do this by rotating the right stick and while holding down the left trigger. And make sure when you rotate the right stick, you don't move it back to the center. You have to hold it, or he won't do a layup. He'll do a spin jumper, and you don't want that at the rim. Trust me, it doesn't work. You can also have a bunch of variations to this spin hop. You don't have to just lay it up. You can do an up and under like I did there. I'll teach you how to do it. Or you can do a jumper with it, and I'm going to teach you how to do that in this tutorial also. And so, of course, if you do a spin layup, you can also slam it down. You do this the same way, except you hold the R trigger. Don't hold the left trigger. Hold the R trigger when you go to the paint. And hold the right stick. You don't want to move it back to the center or you won't do it. And Dwayne Wade's, his is cool because he does it the fast, but if you're playing with the Heat, you want to grab LeBron, because like my boy Shake said in his tutorial, LeBron goes ham at the paint. At the rim he goes up strong, he spins strong, he comes up strong. So if you're using the Heat, I suggest just using LeBron. And now it's about to get a little bit nasty. Check this. Yeah, man, that move is sick. I love doing that move. The spin to the up and under. And what you want to do is rotate the right stick, and then once you get done doing that, go to an up and under. So you rotate the right stick, flip the right stick one way, and then flick it another way. I'm going to give y'all an example. Let's say you run to the paint, right? Rotate it, flick it left, and flick it up. You know, it's easier actually to do the up and under out this animation than it is just to do a simple regular up and under, in my opinion. So, you know, this is a move you're probably gonna have to get in the gym for. Just try it out. It's a nice little step back jumper right there. You know, I taught y'all how to do that, but I'm gonna teach y'all how to do some drifters, because drifters, you know, free you up from the computer. So whichever way you're dribbling, you want to move and hold the right stick, you know, in the momentum of the player. So if you're dribbling to the right, move the right stick to the right and hold it, and he'll do a drifter. You know, this gives you a little bit more room away from your defender. You know, I like to do this more than a fadeaway, because a fadeaway is kind of a low quality shot. But you know, if you have the right player, like Dwayne Wade, he knocks down the drifters, no doubt. So you're about to see me do a couple more here. You know, a little bit to the right, a few to the left. And that right there is the spin jumper. The spin jumper is a real nice move. You basically do this by basically just rotate the right stick. That's all you have to do to spin. You know, you could do it in the paint, you could do it close to the basket without having to do the layup. So you just run and rotate the right stick and hold it. Make sure you hold it. So this is the end of this tutorial. You know, it's my first one. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Holler at y'all later. Peace.